Welcome to the R3 podcast. I'm Reverend Dr. Elliot Robinson. I'm a public theologian, educator, storyteller, and writer. I explore and examine how religion, race, and rhetoric in a world of misinformation and disinformation shape politics, public policy, and public opinion. On this past Tuesday, yet another executive order was released by the Trump administration. This one was entitled Strengthening and Unleashing American Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Citizens. This executive order was somewhat jarring, and so it was followed by a series of headlines from across various news outlets saying things like Trump's newest executive order unleashes the cops and flirts with martial law. Donald Trump's new order sparks martial law concerns, and Trump issues executive order ramping up American police state. The questions that have been buzzing around socials is simply this. Is President Donald J. Trump about to invoke martial law? Maybe yes, maybe no. But first things first, we have to remember always that executive orders aren't the law. Executive orders aren't the law. Executive orders aren't the law. Their scope is limited regarding their binding nature. In the majority of those instances, they are directly related to federal agencies, those things that are under the direct purview of the office of the president. And so anything that really steps outside of that scope is suspect at best. So regardless of the title and the content, this executive order, like really most by this administration, are policy statements, or they are position summaries on a number of issues. And so the fact that the media has spent probably 50 to 60 of the president's first 100 days treating every executive order as if they were the law, that does not make them the law. It did not make them the law, and it will not make it the law in the future. Again, there are instances in which executive orders can be considered binding, but they are very, very narrow and not at all the manner in which this president is using them. He's using them as if they are doctrine, dictate, and law. And so we have to remember that that is not the case. As for this executive order, I'm sure this administration and the Heritage Foundation were laying in wait for their shock and awe strategy to bring us to this point. This executive order was supposed to be their magnum opus, their grand finale of this bloodless coup. They thought that the POTUS would march the military into the welcoming GOP states while also leading his most vicious soldiers into the rioting streets of the non-compliant blue states as they lay siege on their wokeness, their lawlessness, their liberalities, before taking his mighty fist and bending them under his control. Well, there have been many bumps in the road before this victory tour could even get off the ground. And so after the public has gotten their footing, the people decided to fight back. So lawsuits have been filed, temporary restraining orders have been won, court rulings have been won, executive orders have been shut down. Combative town halls have been on the rise, and gutting of the departments of education, Medicare, Social Security, veteran services, and everything else has really awakened the country as to really what is at stake, especially the manner in which the billionaires and the super uber millionaires have been catered to by this administration. So they have not encountered the fertile ground I believe that they had anticipated when they wrote this script. But one thing is certain, they stay on brand and they stay on message. What do I mean by that? So in this episode, we're going to examine the rhetoric of this executive order, as well as how I see them trying to play it out based on their Project 2025 objectives. So while the title is certainly menacing, strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens, the reality is that this administration is not about law and order, but instead about authority and subjugation.